Hello and welcome. You're watching Battle of Champions. Firstly, here's wishing all of you a very, very happy Diwali. And if you're a cricket fan, you've already got your Diwali gift. That after India beat Afghanistan by a massive gift difference of 66 runs in that particular encounter. We're going to be talking to Sunny Gavaskar as we build for India's next encounter that is going to be coming up versus the Scottish team. But first, let's quickly take a look at how India dominated Afghanistan and what lies ahead as far as the tournament is concerned for the men in blue.
This one's done. India win by 66 in Abu Dhabi.
This is what Team India is capable of. Two unfortunate results to start the tournament may have derailed India's campaign to a great extent, but it's still not over for the men in blue. Rohit Sharma set the stage on fire with a 47-ball 74 as the Indian opener has announced his return to form. India next plays Scotland, who are still winless in the tournament so far. Victory may not be in doubt for India, but the manner in which they need to is what India would be looking at. India's 66-run victory over Afghanistan has taken their net run rate to 0.073 and has taken them a rung over Namibia to the 4th spot. India will still have to wait for the result of Afghanistan and New Zealand on November 7, which may eventually decide their fate the following day when they take on Namibia.
Into out. Glorious.
India had almost everything going their way against Afghanistan.
Swung away.
From their opening stand of 140 between Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul to the late flourish from Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant that allowed them to post their second highest T20 score of 210 for 2.
That's what that is. Big time power for 6. Right, leading edge up. Edge of the circle.
Their bowling complemented the batting well in restricting Afghanistan to 144 for 7, with bowlers who so far looked under pressure also doing the job.
Hardik Pandya has found everything right going for him.
They're in Abu Dhabi.
Whatever happens from here on, India would still go for the kill, believing what many would think is virtually impossible. And with this Indian team, never say never.
The hope is that they can
Sports Bureau, India Today.
and then their job.
Joining us on the show is Sunny Gavaskar. Sunny bhai, firstly, a very happy Diwali to you. Also, you must be doubly happy after the performance that the Indian team showed versus Afghanistan.
Thank you. Thank you for your good wishes. And let me also wish you and everybody watching this program a very, very happy Diwali. May the lights shine brightly in all your lives always. And yes, what a performance by the Indian team against Afghanistan. The way the batsmen batted, we saw the firecrackers there itself. The way Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul began, and then towards the end, in the final 5 or 6 overs, when Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant also hit those massive sixes, that certainly lit up the sky in Abu Dhabi that day and gave the Indian bowlers just the cushion of runs that they wanted to bowl without worrying about the dew.
Okay, Saima, now looking ahead to that Scotland game, would you want the Indian team to make any changes? Now we're considering that they're moving away from their favourite venue. I'm calling it favourite because they registered their first win in Abu Dhabi. They're going back to Dubai, not very happy memories of this tournament. Any changes to the playing 11? The one area of concern that you saw during that Afghanistan game was that 5th bowler, because both Shardul and Hardik leaked a few runs. Other than that, would you like any changes?
I don't think so. I think maybe you might want to look at having another spinner instead of 3 new ball bowlers because you're playing a team, Scotland, which hardly ever plays a quality spin bowling. So whether you want to go in with a Varun Chakravarti or a Rahul Chahar, go in with an extra spinner because that will mean that, the batsmen will have to make pace. They are used to playing pace bowling. They're used to playing medium pace bowling. So I would look at maybe going in with an extra spinner. Ashwin did magnificently. He bowled really well. Jadeja is worth his weight in the team as a batsman, bowler, and a fielder. So these two are the 2 spinners that you have, and maybe look at either Chahar or Chakravarti.
Okay, Saim, I have plenty to come with you. Let's quickly show our viewers now what happens to that point table after the win versus Afghanistan. Of course, India have shown now 2 points against their name. You can see which has moved them 1 place up over Namibia. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is the last column. Take a look at the run rate. Now, before this, India were in the negative 1 point something. They've now come into the positive at 0.73. So that's a start. But it's not only that. Now, remember, you got to also look at the Afghanistan run rate. Because not only are you competing with New Zealand for that semi-final spot, you'd also be competing with Afghanistan. Also because you're also hoping Afghanistan beats New Zealand, in which case there is a 3-way tie. Now, if that was to happen, Afghanistan's run rate now is at 1.481. Now, remember, before this game, it was 3 point something. So a massive 2-point drop we've seen in their run rate after this 66-run loss to India. So that's how the tables have completely changed. Now what the Indian team needs to do is win comprehensively versus Scotland as well as Namibia. If they were to do that, their run rate will go over Afghanistan. I hope that not only Afghanistan beats New Zealand, but that's also a very close encounter. I know there are too many permutations, combinations, but it's not as difficult as it's sounding at the moment while I'm explaining. It's not too much really. Saim, I'm just talking about the Indian team now and how they approach this game versus Scotland. You spoke about this before the Afghanistan game, that listen, it's not only 2 points, you have to keep an eye on the run rate. And that approach really paid off. You'd like that same approach against Scotland to really go ahead and dominate?
Yes, and I'd like them to bat first, because batting first allows them to play the way they did against Afghanistan. Go hell bent for leather. Once again, throw your bats at just about everything in the first 6 overs, and then give your team the platform, the batsmen that are to follow the platform, also to throw their bats merrily. And that's exactly what happened against Afghanistan. That's why the score of 200. And against Scotland, because you've got to win big, you want the Indian team to bat first. I know there's a due factor, but you see when you've got 200 runs on the board or even 180 plus runs on the board, the due factor doesn't come into play at all, in the sense that the bowlers know that they've got those extra 30, 40 runs which the batsmen have given them. So the due factor will not be an issue, and you will be able to win big again. When you win big, your net run rate goes up. And eventually, of course, it all depends on what happens in the New Zealand and Afghanistan game. But again, the advantage for India is that they're playing the day after that game. So they know exactly what they've got to do against Namibia.
Okay, just a word on the Scottish team. Not as dangerous as the Afghanistan team, you'd have to say, in the true sense, minnows, when you compare it to the Indian team that's filled with superstars. But one thing that you really notice about the Scottish team, Saim, is their batting. We saw that against New Zealand as well. They were chasing a big total but reached about 156 odd and just lost by 16 runs. The one thing that they have going for themselves, I see, is the fact that they have batting till number 9. Sharif comes at 9 and he can also swing the bat.
Yes, I think that is what you normally see with most of T20 teams today, that they have a bowler who can also throw his bat around. And they basically have just a couple, like India has got Bumrah and Shami at 10 and 11, who probably are pure bowlers and not somebody who can throw their bats around. So yes, that's got to be watched out for. But against a team like Scotland, which does not have that much experience, if you score 200 runs, 180 plus runs, then you're going to put them under serious pressure.
All right, so I must stay on with us. As I said, plenty of good news on Diwali Day. On the eve of the Diwali, you saw the Indian team registering that win against Afghanistan. The other good news came from the BCCI, and that was who's going to be India's next coach. We knew that there will be a new coach after Ravi Shastri's tenure ends at the end of this T20 World Cup. There were plenty of foreign names doing the round. Then you saw Rahul Dravid throw his hat into the ring. But now it's confirmed. It is going to be Rahul Dravid who's going to be holding the reins of this Indian cricket team as soon as this T20 World Cup is over.
It's official now. Rahul Dravid has been appointed as Team India's head coach. The former India captain will succeed Ravi Shastri, whose tenure ends at the end of the ongoing T20 World Cup in the UAE. Dravid's appointment was always on the cards once he submitted his application after BCCI chief and his former teammate Sourav Ganguly and secretary Jay Shah convinced him to take up the job. Dravid was the director at the National Cricket Academy and has a rich and successful coaching experience with India A and the Under-19 teams. Under him, India made it to the Under-19 World Cup finals on 2 occasions. India lost the summit clash in 2016 before Dravid guided the boys in blue to the title in 2018. In fact, Dravid has worked with most of the players who are finding their feet in the Indian setup right now. Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan, Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill are some of the youngsters who were part of the 2 under-19 World Cup teams that flourished under Dravid. With Dravid's arrival, the Indian cricket will also undergo a transition phase as Virat Kohli has also stepped down as the skipper in T20 cricket and his future as ODI captain is also uncertain. Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, Sunny Gavaskar still with us. Sunny, as far as Rahul Dravid, the coach, is concerned, we're going to see him first time coaching a national team, in the sense I'm talking about the senior men's team. But we've seen a bit of a sample size as far as his coaching is concerned. He's coached the under-19 teams, he's coached India A, he's coached a few IPL teams as well. What can Indian fans expect now that he'll be coach of the Indian senior men's team?
Well, I think they'll expect the same kind of dedication and discipline that he brought to his game, the same kind of, deep thinking about tactics and how to take the game forward. He's a very thorough man, and I think that's exactly the thoroughness that he'll bring into Indian cricket team as well. Yes, you've got to make exceptions for the geniuses who will play their own way, but I think if you're a structured unit, you are more likely to have success because you know exactly what to do in what kind of situations. So I think that is going to be the key. The fact that he will also bring a lot of discipline into the Indian team, that is also going to be something that will work well for the Indian team.
Right, so as we mentioned in the story there just before I came to you, the fact that Rahul Dravid has also worked with a few of these youngsters who's now going to be part of this team. Also, some of those youngsters who he worked with may make the transition into the national team in a year or two. How is all of that going to pan out?
Only plus as far as Indian cricket is concerned. The fact that he's seen some of these youngsters means that it's easy for him to, when he's sitting down with the selectors, to be able to say, look, this is the person I've seen. I know what he can do. I think we should put our faith in him. Now, a lot of coaches that are there, because of the fact that Indian cricket, the Indian international cricket is a very, very busy schedule, pretty much 10 to 11 months of the year, you're not able to always see the domestic players. But Rahul Dravid has seen domestic players for a long time. And he's also been at the NCA, where a lot of the youngsters come and practice. So therefore, he knows exactly where the talent is. And that is going to be just a huge plus, because sometimes when you have to make a replacement, the selection committee or the team management is in a bit of a dilemma, who to pick. But somebody like a Rahul Dravid, who has actually seen everybody, at the junior level, he'll be the best person to take a call on that.
A final word on the outgoing coach, Sunny bhai, Ravi Shastri. He's been there with the team. Some very fine test victories have come under him. How would you sum up his tenure?
Magnificent, absolutely magnificent job he's done. Because look, he came in at a time when there was a bit of a turmoil between the previous coach and the captain, but everything's settled. Look at the victories that he has achieved for India. Yes, you can perhaps say that at the multi-country level in the 2019 World Cup, he wasn't quite successful, but he's brought in his own determination. He was a very determined cricketer, and that's what he's brought into the Indian team. That never say die approach, always wanting to give that little extra for the team. That is what he's given to this team, and he's done a magnificent job. And once again, proving that we don't have to look overseas. We have enough good people in our country. And because these people see the youngsters who they'll be familiar with than an overseas person who will not be familiar with youngsters, is the reason I keep saying that, we should be looking within us for jobs like coaching.
All right, Sunny bhai, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for talking to us. And before we wrap up our program here on Battle of Champions, here's once more wishing all of you a very happy Diwali. Have a great time, party as much as you want, but not too much, because you have to prepare yourself, because India would be playing the day after versus Scotland. So you need to cheer your men in blue. That's all that we have at the moment. Thanks so much for watching.